Okie dokie. I invite Kathy to come up and virtually close our conference. Thanks very much.
Well, I'd like you to know that I love having the last word. So this weekend has brought us together from many different roads, but we're not friends of the road. We're friends of the heart. And we need to be there for one another because this is not the easiest of journeys. So welcome to the club you never wanted to join. This isn't exactly what you had planned for your life. So what can you do? Oops, I'm going the right way. We can beat ourselves up, or we can reach for a lifetime, someone who's been there, and that is us, gathered together in this room. Now, from some perspectives, membership sucks. Membership is involuntary. The dues are too high. There's no prestige and no waiting list here. You can't cancel this membership. You can't just come and go. The club is too small and you get no bragging rights here. You leave some old friends behind. You know, you do, because not everybody understands, but you make so many good friends. You're about to enter, or you've been on for a long time, a journey of the heart. Not the easiest of journeys, a lot of it is uphill. On the other hand, membership rocks. You don't have to arrive alone. Imagine you're headed on a difficult car trip, driving on a long distance on crazy roads and long hours on the wheel by yourself. It can be frightening and exhausting. Then imagine you're making the same trip on a bus with others who have made the trip before and share the experience and know the matter. Belonging to a group like the RSAA can be very comforting. This club is not exclusive. Members come from all walks of life, and we probably have within this room people that we may never have come to connect with before, and yet, you know, we're all here together in the same boat now. Members of this club come from all ethnicities, backgrounds, and lifestyles. They are connected by their love for their special child and their desire to give and find support, and it's a soft place to land. Membership rocks because you get first in line at Disneyland. Membership rocks because the little things really are the big things, and you'll come to learn that. Membership rocks because you have all the material for the best high school and college term paper. When I was doing URSA in the springtime, I'd get all these phone calls from brothers and sisters wanting to have all the references. This is before there were big libraries on Woodson that they wanted to write about. Membership rocks. It's not knowing. It's not having what you want. It's learning to want what you have. It causes you to have a change in your thinking process. So you need to open your heart to what is instead of insisting that life must be a certain way. Life is often not what we want it to be. It simply is the way it is. When we surrender to the truth of the moment, we will find peace of mind. We honor what we are going through. Make it so that it's okay that your daughter is not exactly as you had planned. And you know, the ache lives on in your heart, those of us who have older daughters and those of us who are new on the journey. But you adjust. I remember a fellow telling me how angry he was every morning when he got up and he looked out his window to his neighbor who had little triplet girls playing on their swing set. And he had a little girl who never walked, and he carried that anger with him for a long time. Membership rocks because you get the handicapped placard, and sometimes you can actually find them up in unoccupied space. I don't know how it is here, but in America, it's hard. So membership rocks because you're not alone, and you're going to make friends for a lifetime. You can share your joys and sorrows, learn how others manage the challenges, and contribute to the work of researchers around the world. No longer alone, no more apart, we find that we are of one heart. You learn to enjoy the view. You learn to laugh harder, live fuller, and love deeper. You meet the greatest people. I've met people from all walks of life. Some people in research people in law, people in politics, and many of you who I've learned a lot from. You do new stuff. Whoever thought of a lawn tractor race to raise money? That's the truth. We really did that. So you may ask yourself why. There are places in the heart that do not yet exist. Pain must be in order that they be. You can't appreciate the mountains until you dwell in the valleys. You know, I never asked myself why. Truly, from the beginning, I never asked myself why. I sort of said, why not? Because stuff happens. It just happens. And it can happen to me just as well as it can happen to someone else. I didn't do anything to deserve anything bad. And God created Stacy the way that she is. You must experience pain. I keep turning this off. We must experience pain. Otherwise, delight will never have its proper savor, nor pleasure its sweetness, nor love its bittersweet pain. And you grow stronger. I don't keep doing that. Good timber does not grow with ease. The tougher the wind, the stronger the trees. Kites fly highest against the wind, not with it. Any idiot can face a crisis. It's this day-to-day living that wears you out. Wouldn't it be nice if our lives were like VCRs? We could fast forward through the hard parts. How many hats do you wear? First, realize you have many roles, but you can't be all of them at once. You can die trying. You're an ordinary person called upon to do the extraordinary. One hat at a time, one day at a time, sometimes one moment at a time. Friends tell you to relax. If this is as relaxed as you can get, call me up. You ever get the feeling that your guardian angel went out for a smoke? Now, I have to tell you that Scott every year takes very particular attention to giving me Mother's Day cards and birthday cards from Stacey. I have a whole collection of them, but I'm just sharing one with you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. After all these years, you still look great. Any woman who raised me should look like hell by now. So humor will rescue you every time. So I'll tell you a little story about one time I was at what you call the chemist, and I was getting supplies for Stacy's constipation, and so I had some enemas, and I had some Miralax, and I had some Vaseline, and a few other things, and I got in line with a chap, or as you call him, a bloke or a mate, who was behind me, and it was kind of a long line, and we were bored, so what did I do? I started telling him about Rett syndrome. And here I am, he's kind of looking at my hands, with all this stuff that I got in my hands and in my heart. And so I'm telling him all about Rett syndrome, and he says, no shit. And I said, exactly. And my kids developed a good sense of humor about it because, you know, they could be embarrassed and various things could happen to them, and one of them was always kind of embarrassed about Stacy, and the other one would punch anybody in the face who ever said anything about her. They just were very different people. But one time we had gone on a vacation and we were in the pool, and Stacy was paddling around like she does, and she was making all kinds of noise, and she actually talks her own language. She'll say, I'm a Geelong. She has perfect inflection. She's saying something. Anyway, my younger son was swimming next to her, and these kids were staring. And he said, Stacy, those Chinese lessons are paying off. Kids kept on swimming. Another time, Jeff brought a friend home, and he was walking through the house, and Stacy was sitting on the couch doing that same thing, making noise, and Jeff said, oh, don't mind her, she only speaks French. He was so impressed that his sister was French. And then, Dean, we were on a camping trip, and I told that we had a harness for Stacy because there were no sidewalks, and she would walk in front of a car. So she had to wear this, and the kids just hated it. But I asked Dean at dinner time to please take Stacy for a little walk so I could get the food ready. And he said, okay. So he's kind of walking along like this, and he's going over the bridge, and these kids are kind of looking like, you know, this is pretty strange. And Dean said, She's my seeing eye person. So they learn to have their own sense of humor. So what you have to do is fill your own glass first. If you empty the pitcher to fill everyone else's glass first, it will be empty when it's your turn. Take care of yourself first. A good carer is a well-rested, well-rounded carer. You will be good for no one if you're not good to yourself, and this is not being selfish, it's being smart. Like the stewardess tells you on a flight, put on your own oxygen mask first. You cannot save your child if you're starved for energy or for peace. Do what you have to do to keep yourself in the best shape. It is not the load we carry, but how we carry it that breaks us down. Our loads are pretty heavy all the time. I hereby grant permission for you to say no when you need to. When asked to chair a local committee, you can save it for next year. If you're asked to bake cookies, you can say you're out of sugar. When I was asked to run for Parent-Teacher Association, I said I'm only running for my life this year. That was before I knew about Rett syndrome. So you need to talk. Now, this comes easy to women. We can find a support group or a good friend who listens well, and we seek that out. At first, it's not so easy for the man of the house. He does not want to talk to anyone about it. He hopes it will go away. Men are fixers, and Rett syndrome is still unfixable. So he feels powerless and frustrated. He works longer and harder, but he doesn't have the skill to deal with it early on. Do not feel that he is not grieving. He just does it in a different way. Have faith in yourself. You know your child better than anyone. It's intimidating, to say the least, to be seated in a room full of teachers and educators, but your input should be valuable to them, so speak up. And again, one day at a time. It's easier said than done, because most of our days don't look like this sweet and perfect day. But it's important not to dwell on the worst that could happen. Your child may not develop some of the more difficult aspects of Rett syndrome. And try not to plan more than 1 year at a time. Who knows what research will reveal in the coming months and years, and you can paralyze yourself if you try to think too far ahead. Mark Twain once said, "I've been through some terrible things in my life, some of which happened." Those are germs I've got.
No, it was great.
Believe it or not, this is one of the hardest things for parents. We feel like no one can care for her as well as we do. We don't want to burden others. But we are ordinary people called forth to do extraordinary stuff. Many people are just waiting to be asked. When they offer, you say you're doing okay. "Oh no, I don't need help. No, I've got it. If that is not true, you should take them up on their offer. And if you have to ask for a favor, do it. You will actually be giving them a gift. If it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a city to raise a child with Rett syndrome. So do something different. Find something to do that's not relevant to Rett syndrome. It could be exercise, internet games, going to the movies, meeting a friend for lunch, finding things to do that take you away, that don't have anything to do with Rett syndrome. Activity is the antidote for depression. Stress doesn't come from doing too much, it comes from doing too much of the same thing. Now, parents of kids with handicaps have what I call creative guilt. They do twice as much as everyone else, yet think they're not doing enough. When our kids were young, it was a treat to go to McDonald's. Inevitably, Stacy would end up screaming and throwing up, and our boys would be embarrassed to death. So I was guilty. Then I would wind up taking Stacy to the car to feed her the greasy French fries. On the times when we left her at home, I felt like I was guilty for leaving her behind. I was guilty either way. So sometimes take her and sometimes leave her. When life gets you down, it can help to retreat into your own personal quiet space. Remember to flush. Sometimes you have to learn to be incompetent. So have you ever noticed that our kids are always the best dressed? All you have to do is look around here. And I'm totally guilty, and yes, the shoes, that's true about the shoes. Sometimes people want to help, but they just know they can't do everything as well as you do. I learned that it's okay for Stacy to wear stripes and polka dots when someone else is in charge. The fashion police will not arrest her. This goes for other things as well. If her bows don't match her socks, no one will die. And chances are that others will be more willing to help if they don't have to be perfect. expect some difficulties, in this territory. You can be sure that you will be swimming in rushing waters. As in every life, difficulties will arise. Prepare for the worst and expect the best. Your child may never have seizures or scoliosis or need a feeding tube. And remember that researchers are working every day to find drugs that can not only lessen the symptoms, but reverse them altogether. Know that Rett syndrome is a big part of your family's life, but not all of it. You will find that you will smile sweeter and laugh harder, find new friends, and share your journey and embrace life like never before. This is another card from Stacy. If I were perfect, you'd love me. If I were a little less than perfect, you'd love me. Cool. When things are looking kind of gloomy, do as I do. Climb the highest mountain, stare into the heavens, breathe deeply, and say, give me a blankety break. Stress spelled backwards is desserts. That's what got me where I am today. So try to laugh as much as you cry. Laughter is the best medicine. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Read a funny book, watch a comedy on TV, learn to have a sense of humor. High stress leads to resentment and loss of control. And by the way, I'm not giving you these little edicts here because I did all these things right. I'm giving you this information because I did it all wrong. So I have all this long experience of, wait a minute, that wasn't the right way to do that. We didn't go, Scott and I did not go on a trip by ourselves until Stacy was 25 years old. And that was a Rett syndrome conference in Sweden. So, whoops, I'm sorry. Somebody, Don't you like this review? There's a test when we're done. So, and again, I put this in on purpose, saying ask for help, because it's one of the hardest things. And, we think that because we're parents of special needs kids, that everything we do has to be special. You can have unspecial days and not need to apologize. You just need to learn to ask for help. You don't always have to be the strongest person you know. Sometimes you need to cry, to complain, and even tear your hair out. This is a frustrating life you live. Just don't get stuck there. Most of us could describe ourselves in grammatical terms: present tense, past imperfect. Allow yourself to be normal once in a while. You can curse darkness or light a single candle. Your attendance here today lets me know that you've already lit a candle. Being part of a community of care helps you understand and helps you cope. Try to focus not on what you have lost, but what you have found on this journey. Attitude is everything. Situations may be out of control, but we choose our own attitudes. If you see only gloom, there will likely be a lot of gloom. We can't change everything about Rett syndrome now, and we can't change other people. We can only change ourselves. And your children will take their cues from you. So if you're depressed or anxious, they're going to be the same way. In the beginning, I spent a lot of time trying to fix Stacy. Then I realized I needed to fix my attitude. This doesn't mean giving up. Quite the opposite. It means being able to see beyond the thorns to appreciate the roses. Except on days like this, when I go to the local chemist and say, hand over all the Prozac and no one will get hurt. Rett syndrome is not the worst thing that can happen to you. It may just enlighten your outlook and show you how to appreciate the many things others take for granted. You can survive and you can thrive. I mean, look at this happy crowd. We are truly, for those parents, even parents who are just coming in here, do we look like a tragic group? I don't think so. We've all learned to manage and meet the challenges and to meet other people and meet the expectations for us, and we're all doing better. Benjamin Disraeli said that the 3 pillars of learning are seeing, suffering, and studying. We have all been there. You can turn tragedy to triumph, follow your heart, because the value of this life is incalculable. May we each travel further than the obstacles placed in front of us. And I ask you to there's so much I missed the last one. So we'll go back to the beginning and I'll just tell you. It's a picture of a roller coaster, and with dramas and crashes and trust and faith and all these different ways that you go through. And it's meant, somebody else do So take care of your marital relationship, folks. That is really, really important. Your child needs 2 of you, and you need each other to come out alive from the longest roller coaster of your life. That's really very, very important. And you know that the divorce rate among parents of special kids is very, very high. It's not as high as Rett syndrome, in fact, because we have a lot of stable families and a lot of fathers who stick around. But you really have to pay attention to the relationship. And I remember when we first found out about Rett syndrome, and Scott would go to work and come home, and I would talk about, look, I found this. Now, this was before the net, before the internet, before the computer. Well, I mean, we didn't have any of that stuff, but I was going to the library, and I was going every single way. I was talking to Children's Hospital here, and I was talking to this hospital here, this doctor, and this researcher, and I was like, look, I want to try this, I want to try this, and I want to try this, and he hadn't even taken his coat off yet. So he began to be resentful, and we started to fall apart. And that's just so very easy to do, because generally the mom just gets consumed and the dad wants to, can we just have something normal here? So you have to find a balance. That's just what you have to do. Because as I said, your child's a huge part of your life, but not all of your life. So take that into consideration. And I just want to close by thanking Bill and Bill's excellent committee for putting together this most excellent conference, so well organized, well thought out, just beautiful. I'm so glad that we came. Invite you next year.